Today I am talking about crying, emotions, how to get there. Okay, I want to talk to you about emotions. A lot of you have issues crying. And sometimes you pick up a script and you start crying and you ask yourself, well, why wasn't I crying in the audition? Because I cried so much when I first read it. Well, that was an initial take that you got on the character at that moment. That wasn't deep. That was like a superficial emotional hit that you got on it. So just know that you have to dig deep, guys. Now, there's two schools of thought about crying. One school of thought is you got to think about some sad event that happened like a million years ago and then bring that in. I feel if your dog got run over, your dog was run over. If your grandmother's dying, your grandmother's dying. Why can't it just be that? What about finding deep within you what it feels like to be really sad? What about the next time that you cry, you think about how that happened? Because tell you the truth, everything that you feel, anger, paranoia, sadness, you do it to yourself. We blame other people on it, but we do it to ourselves. We put ourselves through this state. We blame other people and say, you made me cry, but we started crying very early, and we added to it and added to it and added to it and added to it until we just broke down. You have to sit in it. You have to marinate on it. You have to know where it is for you deep in your bones. As a matter of fact, guys, since you are a walking, talking, emotional vehicle for the writer, it is of utmost importance that all of you keep an emotional journal. And what is that? Well, instead of actions where you're in your head or beats or intentions, you should be going, okay, this is where paranoia is. This is where sadness is. You should be able to, sadness, anger, happiness. How many times do we see somebody that's happy, they get a phone call and it's devastating and they start to cry? Well, how are you going to do that if you're thinking, well, I have to cry now? You should be practicing your emotions. So you go from sadness to happiness like that. That's called skill level. So having an emotional journal will help you do that. So every week you pick an emotion and you sit on it. Like I remember once I was living in Silver Lake and it was late at night and I saw somebody in a car and I got all paranoid and freaked out and I started running. I was like, oh God, they're gonna kill me. And I fell down. It was like an Alfred Hitchcock movie. I fell down and I tore my stockings and I looked back and I was like, oh, I gotta go. And I ran to my door and it was one of those like stairs within the apartment. I run up the stairs and I locked it and I went to the window to see if they were still out there, and they were two guys kissing. So if you like what you're watching, please click like, comment, subscribe. Love you guys. I did it all to myself, guys. I made myself incredibly paranoid. I built up this whole story in my head that they were gonna come and kill me. Well, it's the same thing with crying. You know, I once did a movie with Kane Hodder. It was called BTK by Lionsgate, and I played his wife. And I had to cry the whole time because I found out that my husband was a serial killer. Now, those of you who know me, you know I would have known. So that was like serious acting there. But I used my grandmother. I'm not going to talk about her because I'm going to start crying. But my grandmother is a huge button for me. She was great for me for the entire movie. It can't just be a superficial cry because you have to be able to sustain it for 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 takes. And it has to be fresh. And that's why a lot of you leave your auditions, you're like, well, I cried in the car. Well, I gotta tell you, your feeling wasn't deep enough. If you find a deep connection and you know exactly how you got there, then you can get there over and over and over again. You guys, use your imagination. Create it in your imagination. Know where that feeling is. Like, I knew where paranoia was. Now, I could do paranoia after what happened with that. And I could do crying. I remember once I was in San Diego, and I picked up my parents' binoculars, and I just was like, oh, I'm just gonna... And all of a sudden, a dog got hit by a car, and I started, boom, crying immediately. You gotta be so well oiled If you look at these soap actors, I've done like 5 soaps, and I was in a scene with this girl, and she's just talking to me, and then they go action, and then boom, she was hysterically crying because she was well-oiled. Are you well-oiled? Can you, because you know, the thing is too, you want to have all these different kinds of emotions, not just anger and sadness. You want to have like emphatic or feeling empathetic or all these kinds of feelings. You want to be able to have so many specific feelings, because the more specific you are, the better story you're going to tell. Because you're a storyteller, guys, so you have to feel everything. Be specific in your feelings, and then we will come along on that ride with you. You know what, there's nothing more aggravating than when you look in the script and it says, she cries, or tears well up. Well, if it's television, then you gotta do it, guys. You gotta do it on cue. It has to be exactly where they wrote it. Now, when it comes to feature film, it's different, because it's all about the character, and it's all a process, and it's all the depth of feel, and so it's a little different. You don't have to be so specific about it, like you have to cry at that given moment. Maybe you could cry like 3 lines later or 2 lines before it, because they have writers on the set and they rewrite as you go. In television, it is set. So if it is asking you to cry right there, then you better figure out why you're crying right there. What led up to that? And it's probably started at the beginning of the script, but don't do it at the beginning of the script, because you need a beginning, middle, and end. But I'm telling you, it's cooking on the stove. So have it cook on the stove in the back of your head, so by the time it's supposed to land, bam, it lands. I also have to bring something else up too, guys. You know, a lot of you complain that casting directors talk to you right before a scene and you're supposed to cry, and they start talking to you on something really emotional. A really good thing to do is don't engage when you go into the room. So you can be pleasant and go, yeah, how you doing? Okay, like look like you're getting right to work, or walk in and then you're ready. You start when you're ready. But if you don't look at them when you're walking in the room, you just look like you're getting to work, like you're preparing, like it's already happening, they're not going to talk to you. But if you look like you want to have a conversation, they're going to have a conversation with you. So be fully invested in the emotion, and then they will respect your work. So walk in like you're ready to go. And then they won't say anything to you. And then they'll just leave you alone, because you'll just cry. And it'll just be like that. You know what I mean? Hey guys, Amy Lyndon, celebrity acting master coach to the stars. I hope you love this as much as I love doing this for you. Stop worrying about the other guys. They should be worried about you. You want to be hot. Become a booking machine. So hit like, make a comment, and subscribe. Share it with a friend.